So this is the report1.txt. So if you finish with the text file creation, you can run your program. Okay? If you don't have this report1.txt, then you may not be able to run your program. Now, the last part in this section is to create the GUI for report. So in the report, it means we are going to check all the orders. It means the manager would like to build a financial report. So this financial report means the financial report will extract the data from the database. That is the report.txt, and we would like to show it into a table. Okay, now let's create the report GUI. The report GUI is simple actually. We need to have only one table. Okay? We need to have only one table widget, and then we would like to make two labels. The first label is the total income, and the other label is the text label. So again, let's make the widget. Open the GUI designer using the external tool and choose the widget and put all the components into the user interface. So we have only three. Let's make that one. So in the GUI, I would like to make a new Qt designer, and then I will make a widget. So let's make a new widget. And in this widget, there will be three widgets. The first is the table widget. And let's make the name of the object is object name of the table widget detail. Okay. So the name will be table widget detail. And as you know, we can make the column in the table. So you can double click on the table and you can create column and row. Now I would like to create the column. So in this explanation, we can create trans ID. So it is the transaction ID. And then we have the ID. And then we have the menu. And then we have ice or hot. And then we want to know whether it is the time in or takeaway. And then we want to know the quantity. And the last one is the price. So there will be 7 columns: transaction ID, menu, ice or hot, dine in or takeaway, quantity, and price. When you click OK, and you will see that the table now contains this one. So you can make bigger. And let's make label. So the label, the first label is label total income. So the first label is label total income. We are going to make the label total income as a label to show that this is the total income. And the text will be total income. and you will see that now this is the total income. And I will have another label. So this label is the label income. So this is the label income. And then just make it as text label, because the text label will be changed according to the price. So we are going to use this one to update any of the price. Okay, after you have this .ui, now you can do again, you can save it into your GUI. Okay. So you can save it into your GUI. For example, I will make it as the file name order report. Order report. So the file name will be order report.ui, and then you can save it. Now let's get back to the Python environment in PyCharm. So in PyCharm, you will see the file order report.ui. Then let's use the terminal. So I can write in the terminal the same with the previous one. It is using the Python, and I would like to modify using the pyqt5.uic.pyuic. It is the converter from UIC to the Python file, and then the file is located at the GUI folder, and the name is order report.ui. I want to make it into the GUI with the file name as order report.py. Okay. So using this command, we use the Python command to use this pyqt5 uic pyuic to change the user interface name, which is the order report, into the Python file. So if you execute this, you will see there will be a new file name. There is a new file name, order report.py. You can use the external tool, but I'm using the terminal, okay, for easy implementation. After you have this Python file, now let's create the main function. Okay, this is the common one. So I will copy and paste this one, and I will do it into the order report.py. So I will put it into the last or in the bottom part of the order report.py. So you may see there is an error here, but please leave it this error, no problem. I will let you know why this is error. So if you look at this one, we use the UI underperform 02. So I created this file in order to make it different with the coffee shop.py. So if you look at the coffee shop.py, the name of the class is UI form. So Python always create the class name using the word UI form every time. But I want to connect from the coffee shop to the order report because they are in the connection. So I need to make different class name. So different class name means, yeah, you can add something, let's say 01 or 02 or any other text. In my case, I would like to make just with the 02. So you can update the class name for the order report. In the order report.py, update the class name to UI underbar form 02. So this 02 means, yeah, you can define by yourself. You can make 01, you can make ABC, you can make 1, 2, 3 as you want. But in my case, I make it as 02. So if you make the same name with this, then the error will be removed. And then we need to have an additional code. So this additional code is located in the order report.py, and please pay attention to the alignment. Okay. So the alignment is very sensitive. In Python, if you don't consider this alignment, there might be errors. So I can put this additional code. So you can copy this one and put it into the retranslate UI. So you can find the retranslate UI is this one, and I want to put it here. So I want to put it here. Now I will explain this one little. And next, I need to make a new function read file. So the read file is the same with the previous read file, but now this is the function read file in the order report. So this is a function read file to read the report file. After you have the new read file, then let's make a function add into table. So this function is to add all the data from the text file into the table. So I can just copy and paste all this one. And then let's create a sim in the statement after the read file. So please make sure that it is aligned. So there is a new function add into table. Okay, now you can try. The two files will be interconnected. It means when you go to the coffee shop, when you have an order, and if you already finished with the order, then you can just click the order and then you will see all the data in the table. So before you click this one, so you need to understand how to connect it. Okay. So this is the way to connect between the coffee shop and the order report. Okay. First, we need to put the order report file in the coffee shop.py because we are going to call it. Then we need to put it into the we want to call the class in the order report. So we put this one into the coffee shop.py. So I will put in the coffee shop.py, and this one will be in the section before the class main window. So if you look at the bottom part of this code, there is a class main window. So before the class main window, you can put the order report. So it means I want to get from the file order report.py, and I want to import the function b window. It can be function, it can be class from the file order report. So if you go to the order report, you will check, okay, there is a class b window. So we are going to run this one whenever we call the class in the coffee shop.py. And then in the coffee shop.py, we need to put one more line. In this case, if you see this one, it is located in the main window. It is located in the main window. And after the setup UI, there will be this code. So I will explain this code later. So I need to put it below the setup UI in the coffee shop.py. Please pay attention again to the alignment, okay? Because whenever I put the code in this PowerPoint, I cannot align it directly with the pie chart. So you need to align this manually. If you look at this figure, so the code self.ui push button order, it will be in the same line of the init function. So it will be in the same line of the init function. And then the def, this one, it will be located the same line with the init. There is one error. So it is unexpected indent. Usually I need to delete something from the text. Okay. So if you have also the same errors, then you need to erase the spaces, because Python is very sensitive with the space. After you remove the space, you can use tab, or you can use a new space to make it align with the current code. So if you already make this alignment, then now you can try. I would like to run the coffee shop. Now let's see, I have a menu Americano, and then I have ice takeaway, and then I will add this one. So this menu will be in the table. Now I want to add a new menu, which is cafe latte. And then let's say I want to make it as hot. Okay, I want to dine in, and then I want to make it 2. So I want to add it. Then it is added into the table. We have the Americano 1 and cafe latte 2, and it is hot. So once you finish with this one, let's order it. So once you order it, you will see all the transaction that you already have. In this case, the transaction 1, this is the original data that we have, and this is the transaction that we just have just now. So we have the Americano ice is 1 and the coffee latte hot is 2. So you can see that the total income until now is 15,000. And if you look at the, okay, let me close this one. If I close it, then it will return back to this page. I don't create any cancellation. Okay, so just close it. And then you can see the report 1.txt. In the report 1.txt, when you open it, now it is a simple data. This is the first transaction. And in the first transaction, there is only one order. This is Americano. In the transaction number 2, there are 2 menus. First is Americano, and the person ordered Americano 1. And the second menu is cafe latte, and there are 2 cafe latte. So if you do again, let's say I have another. So I want to have a new order. So the first, let's say Americano ice, and then I want to make it takeaway, and then I want to add it. So this is Americano, and then I have the cafe latte and ice takeaway one, and then I have black tea hot, and I want to buy 2 black tea and then add. So you can see now the amount is 15,100. The amount is from the total of this one, 3,500 plus 4,000 plus 7,600. So this is the sub amount. After you do this one, let's say I want to click the order. When I click the order, then it is the total transaction that we have until now. So the first transaction is the original data. The second transaction, it was the data that I created before. There are 2 menus, Americano and cafe latte. And the transaction 93, this is the transaction that I just created. So the Americano ice 1 is 3,500, the cafe latte 1 is 4,000, and then the black tea is 7,600. So now, until now, I have the total transaction 30,000. So the 30,000 is from this column. So you can just do the summation from all this price, then it will be 30,100. Okay, now let's see one by one of the function. Okay, so if you look at this one, the text file, now it will be updated with new data. So whenever you have new event, or we call it this event, when you click the add and when you click the order, then it will create this table. Now, let's look one by one. So first, in the coffee shop, .py, this is the original setup.ui, and then this is the original retranslate UI. So you already have the design, you already have the combo box, checkbox, radio button, label button, and etc. And then the Python will translate it into the user interface. So it will make the panel or the widget. After you have the widget, you need to give something. It means you need to check if I click on the radio button ice, if I click on the radio button hot, what will be the result? In this case, I would like to have a button group. So the ice and hot, it will be in one group. When you select ice, you cannot select hot. When you select hot, you cannot select ice. And in this case, I would like to connect to add data. What is add data? Here is the add data. In the add data, at the first time, I would like to read file. What is read file? If you look at this one, it is a function. How do I know it is a function? Because there is the parenthesis. So it is a function read file. And then after I know that this is a function read file, so I can call this read file. Here is the read file function. If you still remember, we learned about this read file in the previous section. We want to open the report 1.txt and then we use R. R means we want to read it. And for every line in the file, we want to split with comma. What is it? In our data, we have the separator, which is comma. So we want to split of every data with comma and put it as the element. And then let's put the element dot strip. Please do remember. In the previous example, we have dot strip means if we have /n, if we go to the next line, so we can remove it. If there is a space, then we can remove it with dot strip. And we are going to put for every element in the elements into a list. And at the end, we are going to add those elements into the data. So this data will be written, and this data will be written to the list data of. How do we know that it is a list? It is a variable that we just created before. This is the global variable. This is the global variable that we created. So if you do not want to make it complicated, you can just make the global variables. So the global variables can work in all the functions. Okay, so this variable can be called in any functions. And then I would like to know how many rows do I have in the table widget. So whenever you have a new data, then the row count will be added by 1. But I want to know how many rows that I have until now. So I need to get the current row count. Current row count will be in the row count, and then whenever I have a new data, then the row count will be added by 1. So if I have already one data, for the table widget, for the next row, I will add by 1. Then it will be in the second row. If I have already 2 data, then I will add 1 more. Then it will be in the row number 3. So this is the description. Prepare the next row for the new data. And then we can prepare the variable for the data. So for a new data, let me make an empty list, and for the select data, I also create an empty list. So set the text for dine-in and takeaway if the checkbox is selected. So if the checkbox dine-in is checked, okay, so if it is checked, then it is dine-in. If it is not checked, okay, this one is checked, okay, it means if we click that one, then it is dine-in. If it is not, then it is takeaway. And then we are going to add the data. We are going to add the data. The first data is the menu. When you select Americano, then it is selected into this data. When you select the button group, so the button group means the ice or hot. So if it is ice, then you will put the text ice into the data. If you select hot, then you will put hot into the data. And then you will put X. What is X? X is the selection, whether it is dine-in or takeaway. And then you will save the result from the spin box. Spin box is the quantity that you click and then you want to get the text. And you save the text into the cell data. And then we are going to get the subtotal. What is the subtotal? The subtotal is to get the price. Okay, the price. What is set price? It is a function. So it is a function based on the data list. If the data list is Americano, then it is 3,500. If it is cafe latte, then it is 4,000. If it is black tea, then it is 3,800. So let's get back to this set price. So it is based on the select data. And then it will be multiplied by the spin box quantity. So if the spin box mentioned 2, it means we need to get 3,500 multiplied by 2. So it is based on the spin box quantity. However, we know that this kind of widget, it will produce string. It will produce string. So if even though we have the number 2, it will be in a string. And in order to do the multiplication, we need to change this text into integer. So we use int and modify this string into integer. At the end, we can append the subtotal. So subtotal is this one, and let's make it as a string because later on we want to save this data into text file. And then we can define the total price. So the total price is from the subtotal. So if I buy the Americano 2, so it means it will be 3,500 multiplied by 2. And then if I have another, let's say cafe latte, I have 4,000 and I will multiply with 1. So it means it will be added, always added into the total price. So I will say that this is the new data. So the select data is after the selection, I will put it into the variable new data, and then I will use this selection data and I will put it into the data order. So what is data order? This is also a list of the global variable. So the data all means the data from all the transaction. This data order, we can put this as the order only in the GUI copy shop. So once you have the data order, now let's put the data together with the data from the list. So I would like to make this new data into a list in the new data, add new data from list. So this is a function add data from list. This is a function add data from list. Again, we are going to check how many rows do we have in the table widget. In the table widget, let's suppose we have one row. If we have one row, then let's add the data from the list. So I have a data. The person already select Americano, ice, and the quantity is one takeaway. So it means I have one new data. Then I would like to put this new data into the table widget. So the table widget means I need to check what is the current row, and then I would like to check what is the current cell data. So this is the same with what we learned in the multi-dimensional list. So the table widget means we have the row, we have the column. So first, we want to get all the data, and then we are going to check each of the cell, each of the cell, each of the cell, each of the cell. Then for every of the cell, I want to set the item. The item means if it is located in the row -1 plus I, so that the item in the cell J will be the cell data. So after we have this information into the table, we can resize the column. If the text is very long, the table widget can be resized following the context. If the if the text is short, then we can make it short. And we can set the label price. So the label price, it is from the total price, and we want to set it into the label price tag label. So this is the two function. This is the function add data and add data from list. So we also learned the set price. And we also learned about read file. And due to the time limitation, I will stop here. I will continue to explain the write file and the order report on Thursday. Okay. Thank you very much. Try to do this one at home. If you still cannot do it, okay, I will upload the video so you can follow the video. Okay. Thank you very much.